We are Lagos Talks 91.3.
Let's talk.
Welcome to Michelle and the Guru on Lagos Talks 91.3. 43 minutes already past the hour of 9. It's a beautiful Monday morning, the 29th of March, 2021. My name is Michelle Ago, holding it down on the early edition this morning. And of course, I'm not alone. I'm with the Guru. He's right here beside me, ready to take on today's episode of today. Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Michelle. Longest time.
It truly has been a long time.
It's looking like the last time I saw you, I was just 25 years old.
Oh, wow. I must have been a toddler by then as well. My God. Well, I'm happy to see you. Happy New Year, officially.
It's good seeing you.
Yes,
with,
sir.
Everything about you radiating. Like as I keep saying, you are always valid for foreigners.
Oh, my God. You're making me shy.
Good morning, Lagos Talks 91.3 FM.
It is.
Today is Michelle and the Guru.
Yep. Right.
Now, let's move straight away to the historical perspective for today. Probably I will just give two out. 58 years ago, that is today, 58 years ago, 1973, the U.S. troops left Vietnam after losing both the battle and the war, so to say. Now, the U.S. was not directly involved in that war of Southern and Northern Vietnam, but it all started early on that the U.S. sent some people to go and advise them on what to do, how to fight the war. Then gradually U.S. moved in beyond the advising. That was early 60-61, moved in from being an advisor to the point of bringing one bullet, one gun, to the point of bringing one bomb, another one, and to the point of physically being involved, moved through there. It was one of those few wars in life that taught the America that you can't win it all. The Vietnam War lasted for 16 years. It started in 1959 and finally ended in 1975 and was fought between the Democratic Republic of Vietnam, that is the North Vietnam, supported by the Communist allies, and the Republic of Vietnam, South Vietnam, supported by the U.S. and other Western allies. The war resulted in North Vietnamese victory in 1975 when the North Vietnamese took over the capital, Saigon. And today it's being said that happened to be one war that taught America a very, very brutal lesson. It was a war that the tactics of the rabbis were developed. We are not going to that today. But that is a historical perspective for today, which I believe. Then, 100 years ago today, that was 1920, this is 1921. That
It's 2021.
2021. Michelle, what can I do without you? Thank you very, very much. 2021. In 100 years ago, 1920, there were three prominent world leaders that can be mentioned. David Lloyd George, British Prime Minister. Vladimir Lenin, Marxist revolutionary and Soviet leader. Then Woodrow Wilson, 28th President of the United States of America. That will be okay for historical perspective for today.
All right.
Now, Michelle,
Yes, sir.
you want to go through the menu? I said you have it.
Yes, of course I do. I do have the menu. You sent in some very, very interesting stories. And
if there must be somebody that I wouldn't do that, not Michelle, because you are my commander-in-chief today.
all right, sir. So I'll take you through the news. Now, retired Supreme Court judge amends previous announcements on national security. That's a report by the Premium Times.
Now, the Supreme Court judge in question today, not doubtful, being referred to here as I made the previous pronouncement on national security, is no other one than Justice Olabode Rose Vivo, who retired from the Supreme Court a few days back. The historical aspect of why we were talking about this justice who spent 27 years.
27 years.
Yeah, 27 years in almost the three phases of the court. High Court, he was there. Court of Appeal, he was there. Supreme Court. He retired at the mandatory age of 70. Monday last week. Now, he amended. Let me go back to the headline and let us evaluate it. Let's start our evaluation and interrogation from there. Oh, by the way, pardon me, please. I should have announced it that I have a guest in the studio. Mr. Olajide Oduyoyi is the General Manager of Lagos State Traffic Management Authority. Am I right, sir?
You're absolutely correct.
Very, very good. He is my guest today. I shall come back. I shall zero down to the narration of the judge we're talking about. But I brought Oduyoyi to the studio because I'm dedicating today's program to the memory of a very, very big Nigerian hero. Talking of Godwin Obasi. Godwin Obasi, we'll talk about him later, was an employee of Lagos State Traffic Management Authority. Employed on level 4 down there, but somehow along the line got his promotion until he became assistant or enforcement something, level 7. The young man was doing what he was employed to do at Anthony. Here in Lagos, of course, that man couldn't have gone to other state to operate. When he was brutally killed by aggrieved downfall drivers. One of them brought cutlass and caught him as if he was butchering cow in that battle. We will talk more about him. So today's program, I really dedicated it to the memory of that young man who was killed, who was murdered because he was serving the fatherland very, very faithfully. It was for that reason that I brought in the general manager. Sir, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Godwin.
We shall come to you later.
No problem.
Thank you for sitting down very, very gentleman way, and listening.
Diligently.
Diligently, that's good. Now, Justice Olabode Rhodes Vivo participated in judgment, and he gave the nailing point of that judgment. Talking of a judgment that was delivered 16 years ago. Yes. Or 15 years ago. 15 years ago. That was the judgment that was against Delta militant leader Asari Dokubo in 2006. In 2006, the man was not enjoying the best of things. He was detained by then head of state, Olusegun Obasanjo, and his lawyer took the matter until it went as far as to the Apex Court. In deciding the matter, the Justice Olabode Rhodes Vivo made a pronouncement which carried the way. And of course, the person who gave the lead judgment then happened to be present the Chief Justice of Nigeria. Now, the judgment he gave, that was delivered. It was delivered on June 6, 2007. Now, that is the Supreme Court. The judgment was that the security of the state is superior to liberty of the citizen at any given time. Now, today, or on Monday last week, as this judge, the respected judge, was retiring, he recorded that judgment and he made some pronouncement. The retired judge said on Monday that no one's right should be denied unless national security is visibly threatened. But in 2006, when he gave judgment, he said he did not use the word national security is visibly threatened. But he said if national security is in real likelihood of being threatened. So he now amended it. He now regretted that judgment, as he pronounced it then, should it have been so? That until there are visible threatening to the state, individual rights must go far over and above the state security. Because then he said real likelihood, but today he has amended it to become is visibly threatened. Oh, he amended a lot of things on that day. But the question is this. At what time had this amendment been made? Was he sitting on judgment that day, on Monday last week? Or he was saying goodbye to the judiciary or to the bench? And he brought this. Do they have powers of becoming law of the land? Lawyers will tell you that laws are made by 3 different ways. The creation of the constitution becomes law. Amendment from the National Assembly can take if the president sitting in council signs it to become law. Or pronouncement of court. If a court pronounces anything that is not tied on with the constitution or whatever any other law in existence, and that judgment of the court's pronouncement is upheld at the highest level, in the case of Nigeria, the Supreme Court, that becomes the law of the land. It doesn't matter what the law, that will step aside the constitutional requirement or demand. These are the law. So when he now review the judgment and now making pronouncement that it should have been so, do they have any binding authority to become the law of the land? I am afraid not. Because he wasn't speaking sitting in judgment. He was speaking at a ceremony. All right, let us move ahead.
All right. Our second story talks about, we take it to the Daily Post. We will kill all non-state actors in communities, forests. That's coming from the Chief of Defense Staff. That's what he's vowing. So the Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Lucky Irabo, on Monday today, said the military has resolved to kill all non-state actors in communities, forests, and countryside across the country. The military chief stated this on the one-day National Defense and Security Summit in Abuja. He said the military will continue to ensure normalcy is restored in all parts of the country. He noted that the defense is committed to ensuring that parts of the country witnessing kidnapping and other security challenges regain their peace. The military chief expressed optimism that Nigeria will have peace again, adding that Nigerians will no longer entertain fear while going about their businesses.
Thank you very, very much. Irabo is now a 4-star general. He participated in many, many wars. And he was a commander at Operation Lafayette Dole. And he has experienced a lot at the theater of war. And it is a good thing that he has taken over from Oloni Shakin, the 4-star general, one of those that Nigeria cried much about, that they were not functional. And that non-functionality are now becoming more prevalent as their tenure is now being interrogated by wiser people. We will kill all non-state actors in communities, forest, Chief of Defense Staff vows. Like as I said, the Chief of Defense Staff, though the paper mention him as a Major General, he's not a Major General. He's not a 4-star general, so it's a full general. Major General is a 2-star general. Brigadier General is 1-star general. Then Lieutenant General is a 3-star general. Then full general is a 4-star general. Lucky Irabo, my brother from Agbo in Delta State, is now a 4-star general. He made this statement. He did not just create the law. The president had earlier given order that anyone carry dangerous weapon, mostly AK-47, because these are weapons that are not assigned to any individuals, should be shot in the forest, should be shot dead. So of course, that order was given by the Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces. The Nigerian Armed Forces combines the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Air Force, and the Nigerian Navy. And of course, every other paramilitary is under the command of the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. So when the president gave that order, where some people are still questioning whether the order was appropriate, thinking that it's life that will go now. What else would you expect of people who hold themselves in the forest, either going by the name bandits, or by the name kidnappers, or by the name insurgents, either Boko Haram, ICW, whatever you call it? I think it was most appropriate. One of the greatest critics of the president, Sam Otom, the executive governor of Benue State, was the first to praise the president for giving that order. It is in enforcing and to add to the efficacy of that order that General Irabor said that anyone in the forest with guns, we will kill them. Because in the first place, is the forest a dwelling place of any individual? We know the Fulanis are nomadic. Okay, let me put this in proper perspective. You have about 4 groups of Fulanis. They all are not nomadics. You have the academicians, Fulani. Those are the professors here and there. You have the religious ones, people like Sheikh Ahmad Abubakar Gumi, who has degree in nearly all the field, who was in the military, who is a medical doctor, who left the military as a captain. And you have the trader, Fulani. Then you have the herders. The herders are more likely to be within the nomadic descriptions. But going back to Irabor, what he has just emphasized is that any person in the forest with guns, of course, you invited what is coming to you. Because the bandits that are now ravaging the north west and the north central, they don't live in these cities. Even those making negotiation with them, those reaching out to them, they meet them in the forest. The forests are their homes. So, and it has been either the bandits or the Fulani herdsmen or the Boko Haram who move within the Lake Chad Basin Authority and the forest, Sabisa Forest. Sabisa Forest is as large as the whole of Enugu State. So if you are met there with this thing, what do we do to you? He merely emphasized the instruction that was given. He noted that defense is committed to ensuring that parts of country witnessing kidnapping and security challenges regain their peace. The military chief expressed optimism that Nigeria will have peace again. I hope listener will say amen to that, because there is no peace in this country. Somebody just sent me text message this morning. The person said that he had to go and meet Isikak Essen, former editor of Concord newspapers. He was just 70 years. He was just 70 years last week. To get my number, so as to, and what was he reporting to me? That the sister, a petty food trader, going to the north to buy food, bringing the food back to either Akwa Ibom or whichever place to sell. On their way, 4 women who loaded food items in the vehicle were now kidnapped. So we're in Benue State. And she sent the message that Esikak told him that if he can get in touch with me quickly, that I can use my influence to connect the police best that are now in Benue State to investigate the assassination attempt on the life of Sam Oto, led by the DCP, the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Yari. Of course, if Yari is on assignment like that, directed by the by the Inspector General of Police, I don't think I have any influence to call him at this time that a detour. Go and check this thing. But this tells you how unsafe the whole country is. So anyone that is making this country as unsafe as that, what the Chief of Defense Staff said is that we'll kill all. And I think I want to agree with him. Can we move to the next level?
Of course. All right. Now, that was the case of Lucky Irabo, who is the Chief of Defense Staff. Now, still in the military, ex-military chief, troops lack proper arms to fight. I think this is one of the few times they are admitting to this inefficiency. But troops on the front line of the battle against Boko Haram in Borno State are fighting for inadequate equipment. A recent retired military brass has said this. Giving an insight into the war front, the retired officer said until about 3 months ago, when some equipment were brought, soldiers were using Hilux vans instead of mines-resistant armored personnel carriers, also known as the MARP, in the battlefront. Now, the military chief, who spoke in confidence, said the National Security Advisor to the President, Babagana Mongono, claimed that neither the fund allocated for purchase of equipment nor the equipment could be found.
Okay.
Yeah, and it should be thoroughly probed.
Thank you very, very much, Michelle. I think you've done enough justice to the subject matter.
Have I?
The Guru has not much to say. But let me say this. This is the first time admission like this is coming from retired officers. Admissions like this have been made with the troops by some commanding officers at theater of battle. Adeniyi faced his problem, which resulted in Ito being reduced in rank and retired, by saying, we did not have this thing, but somebody sabotaged, and that day he happened to be one of the bravest officers of our time, Major General. He saved the life of Buratai 3 times when Buratai ran into an ambush of Boko Haram. But because somebody set him up, the person was videoing when he was talking. He was sending a report to his boss, who also is the Chief of Army Staff, Buratai, who brought him to justice later. And what did he say? He even showed picture of their equipment. This officer retired is not mentioned, but the military authority or the commander-in-chief has his name and all the evidences with him. I was told, and I believed my informant. He completed the whole thing. He said the new equipment fighting the war, the weapons we see there now, were just brought in 3 months ago. Meaning, they were brought in when the Chief of Defense Staff then, the Chief of Defense Staff, Oloni Chikon, the man from Ekiti, who was to be retired before Muhammad Buhari took over, and he became good to continue services. Chief of Army Staff, Buratai, took over Buratai. Navy, Chief of Naval Staff, Chief of Air Force Staff, Chief of Defense Military Intelligence, or what they call that. They are 5 altogether. 5 of them altogether. It means when Nigeria were shouting that these people are not delivering. And don't forget, troops were absconding despite the implication of being declared a war, which in most cases carried death punishment or that war. Because summary, if you are in doubt, read Olusegun Obasanjo's book, Not My Will. Then you will have all the details. And read Ebenezer Babatokwe, Ebilo Topsy. That is writing pseudonym. Read his book, Not His Will. It will tell you what happens when a fighting man is declared an war. that this, what we see today, which are not adequate, they were brought in just 3 months ago. Which means when the pressure was so much on President Muhammadu Buhari that sack these people, they are not useful to Nigeria, they are not useful, was when they said, okay, let us take something to show them. So evidence of this man's statement is that those things they brought were just brought 3 months ago. And they were there for 5 years plus. So if you remove 3 months from 5 years plus, you still have a solid 5 years. For solid 5 years, these people play on, they dupe Nigerians. These services. Because read again the details which this man explained. If you go to the Nation newspaper, listeners, please research from the Nation newspaper of March 24, 2021. You will not see his name, but it's well known. And everything he has said, the first thing he did was to collaborate Major General retired, Babagana Mugunu. That what he said should be given adequate hearing, should be elongated further for other interrogation. Because that man said that the new services did not see weapons purchased by the services that left. The Buratai gang. The new ones now, the Irabon gang, or let me say, Olonisokon gang. The weapon they said to have purchased, because money was released, and money was being released, being approved by the president for them. What Babagana Mugunu said is that the new services under Irabon did not see any single weapon. And they did not see money that, okay, the weapon had not been purchased, but look at the money here. He now even made the statement. He said maybe they were purchased from America or purchased from England, and that they are on their way coming. But for now, nobody can trace where they are. And he even said that the governors, the Nigeria Governors Forum, are aware of this. And he said that the president may probably probe that. So he gave this interview under Hausa services of the BBC network. Then 3 days later, he collided with himself like 2 trailers. I mean, a trailer that collided against itself. I don't know whether the accident will be external or internal. I don't know. And he now made a pronouncement that he was misquoted. Before I analyzed him last week, Monday, I called 2 of my Hausa friends who speak Hausa language, who have their authority in language. So we log into the interview. They interpreted everything. He said what the interview, the BBC said, he said it. So why would he want to collapse? That is not the issue now. He had assured that the cat had let out of the bag. So that is what this Major General is talking. 1, he said this Hilux, if the Hilux runs into a mine, it will blow the Hilux into pieces. If the Hilux is blown into pieces, what about the soldiers inside the Hilux? They are thrown into pieces. This is one great disservices that some service chiefs who are eating high. Oh, of course, I look at all the 5 of them. None of them is too fat, so they know how to trim themselves. It means that if you gain access to the real money, it doesn't make you look fat or blow your belly up. We should look at that. Another Major General has spoken. Major General retired. Is it Mahi? He has spoken too. This was just a few days ago. He now spoke that there was no synergy between the services. It was for that reason they could not defeat. And when these 5 officers who had been retired were nominated by President Muhammadu Buhari for ambassadorial position, they were sent. They went to the National Assembly for confirmation. At the National Assembly, what they were telling us at the National Assembly, because they were waiting for the confirmation of the appointment, became different entirely from what they told us for those 5 years. Meaning they were feeding Nigeria for 5 years with lies, deliberate lies, concerted. It took Lieutenant General Buratai to say that the Boko Haram people, they penetrate the natives in his own state. He's from Borno. That they penetrate the natives, that the natives are more loyal to them than even them. Here was the man who told us that Boko Haram have been technically defeated. And use all type of English. We should go to the dictionary, we tell you, sweet things are happening. Then the chief of defense staff said So no, Chief of Defense Staff, the Directorate of the Military Intelligence, the big man there, who was one of them, now said that it is mismanagement of intelligence report that made the war to legal, the Boko Haram war to legal till now. And he gave a typical example that before Dapesh girls were abducted, that is the gang of Sharibu Leah,
Yeah, Leah Sharibu.
Leah Sharibu. That was the gang. You know, she's not from Chibok girls. Chibok girls were 2014.
Before, yeah.
During Goodluck Jonathan. The military intelligence chief said that if intelligence came that this was going to happen, and it was released to the military, to the army, how they use it became a different thing. It came to pass. Which means if there were to be anyone, according to the report of this officer, according to what Babagana, Major General Babagana Mungodo said, Babagana Mungodo is the national security advisor to the president. According to what Major General Mahdi had, this other one I mentioned, I will call his name, had just said, it means there were to be some people who are at the forefront of sabotaging Nigerians for this thing. They were those service chiefs. But the good news is that the president is investigating the matter. I cannot reconcile. I cannot recollect very recently how many people Buhari investigated like that and brought them to justice. Maybe this will be the first attempt. Can you move me forward?
Absolutely. Presidency says no rift between Buhari and Tinubu. The presidency on Wednesday last week in the evening formally reacted to the purported rift between President Muhammadu Buhari and former governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, saying categorically that there is no rift between the president and his strong political ally. In a recent statement released by the senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, the presidency he's describing the recent reports of a rift between two leaders.
Okay, like that.
Okay.
As we are talking now, I think where is Ahmed Asiwaju Bola Tinubu in Kano for his birthday?
Kano? That's new.
Yeah.
Does he celebrate his birthday there usually?
It has always been a Kolo Menini. How do they call it? He would always organize in Lagos here.
Yeah.
But now the wisdom of moving into Kano has become apparent.
What's happening in Kano? Does he have a family?
That's what Kano.
Does he have a family there?
Dr. Abdullahi Ganduji, my very, very good friend, whom some people have given an alias name, Gandola.
Gandola. Oh, right. I remember.
Gandola. Is celebrating him, is hosting him.
Oh, okay.
For the birthday.
Interesting.
He was in Arewa House in Kaduna because there is this annual meeting of the Arewa in honor of the first governor of Premier of Northern Nigeria, the late Sadana of Sokoto, Sir Amado Bello. So this question that there is no rift, nobody can tell you that he met or she met Buhari quarreling with Bola Tinubu. But we all know where Bola Tinubu is heading to. We all know that God makes leaders, but God uses people to make things happen. God used Bola Tinubu to bring Buhari to power. It's no gainsaying. It's the truth of the matter. Because from AD, Alliance for Democracy, to AN, to ANC, before now APC, it is all property of Bola Tinubu. And the wife of Buhari stood in an audience authoritatively and thanked Bola Tinubu and made the pronouncement that without Bola Tinubu, my husband wouldn't have become the president. Of course, as of the time that Buhari was to become, that the ticket was given to Buhari, Bola Tinubu wanted to be the vice president by all means. But the inner caucus, which is now in what you call the cabal, had not made a bold appearance then, but they were behind the scene. They reminded Buhari that, hey, if you take Bola Tinubu as your assistant, the man is larger than you. You make life unbearable to you, which to me is their error. Because the constitution of the 1999 constitution we are operating today, as amended, deflected every person that will become a vice president in Nigeria. Because it is a constitution that has no single appointment for the vice president. The office of the vice president is not recognized for any functionality. The head of the economic team, which is constitutionally mentioned that the vice president will mention, even go and read it again, it says subject to the approval of the president. So if Bola Tinubu had become vice president to Buhari, I see there wouldn't have been threat. All he would have done is all Buhari would have done is to remind him that, okay, you want to do this, where is the constitutional provision? The man wouldn't have been able to see any constitutional provision. So he could have become another spare tire. Let me quote what Obasanjo was said to have told Atiku Abubakar. He said, Turaki, don't forget, you are just a spare tire in this vehicle. But then, Bola Tinubu lost out. It was because he lost out that he brought Yemi Osinbajo, who is now the vice president. Don't forget that Yemi Osinbajo served Bola Tinubu well. His first tenure as governor of Lagos State, as the Attorney General Commissioner for Justice for Lagos State. Yemi Osinbajo is a professional, astute professional to the court. He became a professor of law at the age of 33. He's a son, and even the management of the administration of justice. So it is for this that they say that I'm afraid, Michelle, we have to step this matter down here for now.
All right.
Because we have a guest.
All right.
And the time is gone already. And the greatest enemy we have here is always time. Yes, Mr. Olajide, you are welcome, sir. Once again.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Now, your officer was brutally murdered. His name is Godwin Obasi. I saw Godwin Olusegun, or Godwin Shegun Obasi.
That's correct.
Am I right?
That's correct.
When I saw it, I laughed.
Okay.
Because Godwin Obasi obviously is not from Lagos State.
Definitely
As he
not.
wants to come into the president of Lagos State, he quickly hired one Yoruba name, which became the Shegun. And in interpretation, Godwin with Oluwasegun, they are the same. The version of Godwin in Yoruba language is Shegun.
So it was deliberate now, so that people could understand the meaning of Godwin.
So, but last night when I was broadcasting, sir, I said it in my write-up that I am dedicated to this program, to the memory of that young man. Because he was not killed because he went to steal. He was not killed because he was killed because he was controlling traffic and was free for traffic.
Wow.
Sir, your pains are still with you. Our condolences. Lagos Talks 91.3 FM. Our condolences to you.
Thank you very much. That's well appreciated.
What's the interpretation of that? What's the larger interpretation of what happened? Give us the background.
What it is that, incidentally, it wasn't even on duty because he had finished his morning shift.
Okay.
And the perpetrators, the drivers that got themselves together,
yes,
they were actually arrested in another area of Lagos State for violating the traffic law.
Yes.
And so in anger of what has happened, so it was a case of, let's go fishing for any last mile we can find.
Wow.
So they mobilized, and because they know that that Anthony garage, that particular spot,
yes,
a lot of last mile officers hang out there. All right. So naturally, these guys had finished the morning shift. There was a changeover, so they were still miling around. You know, you would do when your morning shift in the afternoon, you're still hanging out with the people that you.
This happened around 3 p.m. in the afternoon, yeah?
That is correct,
okay.
Yes. So they finish around 2. And so these drivers gone ahead, organize transportation for themselves, armed themselves with dangerous weapons, machete, cutlasses, wooden planks, and everything. And they stormed that place, made people run helter-skelter all over the place out of fear of getting killed. And those who were not able to escape were hacked and macheted and punched and beaten. And so we had 2 officers that unfortunately fell into this situation. And the late Godwin couldn't make it, so he lost his life when he got to the hospital. The other officer that was also attacked, we thank God that as of now, he's out of hospital. So we thank God for life on that one. The late Godwin will be buried on Wednesday. And I mean, it's just sad in the sense that he's the breadwinner of his family. I know we always say that, but that is the truth in this case. His wife is currently pregnant. He's got a mother who's alive, and the wife is got a 2, or between them they got a 2-year-old. So you got a 2-year-old, you got a pregnant wife, you got an aged mother that's been left, and the poor gentleman has just gone and just left us. Because why? Because some people in this environment of ours feel that the laws that have been passed by the state, by the House of Assembly, does not relate to them. They don't want it, they don't like it. They want to be left alone to do what they want, because in their own heads, they are the government of this state, and they are the government of life, and they are the government of the people, and only they can decide what should or should not be.
Okay, thank you very much. Hold it there, please. Godwin Obasi was born on May 15, 1984, and died March 16, 2021. Okay, now, do you think this would have been possible? Mostly at that place that a lot of last men hang about. Do you think it would have been possible if there were to be policemen armed with them, as envisaged by Sanwo-Olu, the governor, when he came to power, when he said that last man will be running 2 shift time, early in the morning, 6 a.m., and that they will go out with police protection? Do you think if the police were to be there, armed policemen on duty with them, the death of Godwin Obasi would have been possible?
No, well, anything is possible, but I think the original plan of mobilization would have been thwarted. Because if you know where you're going and you know that there's some kind of protection there, you probably wouldn't go. But then, having said that, it is not practically possible for police support to be at every choke point in the States.
How many choke points do you have in the state?
We have to. It's just like counting the roads in the state. We have thousands.
Okay.
All right. So anywhere.
But what about the highly concentrated choke points? You can number those.
Those, yes, we can. I think it's running into about 1,000 for now.
Okay.
Over 2,000.
Okay.
Right, because any intersection where there is no signalized lights, traffic lights, becomes a potential choke point because of the way and manner in which we drive.
Okay, how many policemen do you have to service your men?
In total, we have about 124.
124.
That's correct.
To service last man men in Lagos State.
And we have 43 zones that they have to cover. And we also have patrol for BRT corridor as well. So, yes, the police needs to cover all of those areas.
Okay. Remember when you came here the other time, the question was posted to you. Danfo will be driving against traffic. Car owners will be driving against traffic. But the car owner will be arrested by last man, and the Danfo will be allowed to go. And you explained the situation. And the explanation bordered or threat to lives of those who were forced. Is it what you said the other time that had come to pass now in the case of Godwin Obasi?
Absolutely, it is.
Okay. Now, you are the big boss. You are the Oga, pata pata. You have a political leader. I know that quite right.
For sure.
You have a political leader. How can situation like this that happened to Godwin Obasi be avoided in the future? What would you suggest?
Well, there are so many areas of attack or areas of intervention that we need to look at. So it boils down to attitude of drivers in the first place. Because a lot of people talk about enforcement, and really and truly, in scientific terms, only about 15% change should be expected from increased enforcement or just bordering on enforcement alone. Because people, as human beings, they choose to do what they want to do if they feel they can get away with it.
Yes.
And it's not just about driving, it's about everything. I mean, if you look at the building laws, if you look at how people are just circumventing the laws of the land in building, you will see that some people feel they can get away with it. Just any area you can think of in our society, you can see people trying to violate and waiting for enforcement. All right? We need to have a society where the human beings that live here understands the benefit of just being law-abiding.
Okay.
And that is how a beautiful society is born. That is how sustainability of a livable society is maintained as well. Then the enforcement side comes into play. The infrastructure in place doesn't help, right? Even LASMA officers, as one of the enforcement agencies amongst many in the state, there is need for protection even where you operate. I think the chances of them being attacked at that spot was high because there's no protection either in building terms or fence types or gate type of thing. It might have been difficult if you compared the same thing with how the headquarters is, because we have fence and we have a gate.
Yes.
But those are the things that needs to be considered. So in the infrastructure of protecting lives of officers. Now, even after the death of Godwin, a lady around the Omole side was hit by another hit-and-run vehicle.
Omole phase 1 or phase 2?
Phase 1, that area.
Yeah.
She was hit. She was rushed to hospital. The driver sped away. All right? Unfortunately for him, maybe his conscience affected him. He came back to the hospital without his vehicle. He didn't identify himself, but someone recognized him. He only came to satisfy his conscience that the person did not die. That is the force of hitting the woman. And so we're kind of vulnerable. We're vulnerable because of the way we drive. So it's not, when we talk about downfall drivers and private motorists, it's not a case of discrimination. When you look at the figures and the data, the private motorists are just as bad as the commercial drivers.
I agree with you to that, but hold it there. One more question, because very soon I'm throwing my line open. Now that I have you here, it's not always having you here. You know how much I beg you before you agree to come now.
I know.
Now, one more question. The fear of life, safety of life, are you anticipating a situation that this fear will maximize to a point that your men will not be willingly reported to their duty posts?
That comment is very real, sir. That comment is real, and so even as I come on the public domain to come and show awareness, come and share what we're going through, I speak to officers as well, right? Because at the end of the day, we have a mandate to keep Lagos traffic flowing.
Yes.
All right? But it shouldn't be at the expense of our lives. Nobody has ever said, and any LASMA officer, that is the beginning and end of your life. There's no reason why any one of us cannot be the head of state of whatever state we've come from.
Yes.
All right? So the fact that we're working as LASMA doesn't mean we should be subject for people's anxiety and anger and whatever it is they're going through in their private lives. We're not there. We're not perfect. Nobody is. And we're not making excuses. A lot of people accuse me like I keep on supporting LASMA officers. And I sort of wonder, what exactly did they want me to say? That, okay, you know what, just because you're upset with a LASMA officer, it gives you the mandate to go out there to go and kill him and kill her. Now, where did the LASMA officer come from? Is it not from this our same society? Is it not? Do they not have parents like us or family, children? So why do we feel like there are traffic lights that you can just go and bash and just walk away? It's not. It's just not right. There's something not right about the way we behave.
Okay. Jide, thank you very, very much. Hold it there. Michelle.
Yes, sir.
We still have issues like Southwest Governor creative problem for Tinubu 2023 presidential ambition. That's Miyetti Allah. I will discuss this tomorrow. I will use them just to while away time tomorrow while we're doing this. Right. We have a high cost of governors responsible for poverty in Nigeria. This was explained by Lalog. Lalog is not only governor of Plateau State, he's the governor of the Northern Governors Forum. When he expressed this, I listened to the lecture. Then I asked my question. Let's go to Plateau and see if he's practicing what he's preaching here now. His the cost of running governor is still very, very high. We'll talk about it. Then Gumi bandits who surrendered until Gumi had made it. Of course, I don't blame Gumi. Gumi has told you that he goes to the forest to meet the bandits. And government officials are with him each time he met with them in the forest. And he's been safeguarded by security agents. So, if the federal government officials are with him, Gumi might be speaking on behalf of himself, his brothers, the bandits, and on behalf of the federal government. So let us not unnecessarily overheat his statement. But there is another tone there. Then, of course, the ex-services did it work. Ex-services did it work together to tackle insecurity. I mentioned it briefly. We shall come to this because now we must open the line.
Of course.
And read from Twitter, read from Facebook, because we will still have about 10 minutes or so to be devoted to the
Knowledge Dropbox. Of course. All right, the phone lines to call are 0809-191-3913, 0809-222-0913. You can also call 0809-234-5913. Send us a tweet on Twitter at Lagos Talks 913. You can use the hashtag Michelle and the Guru. Also on WhatsApp, you can join the conversation. Send us a message 0809-234-5913. A message here coming from Big Fred from Bariga. He's saying, let the NLC insist on the government building new refineries with a timeline attached to the completion. Then they can move the subsidy. All right, thank you. Another one here from Sonny Spacco is sending it from Lekki, saying, good morning, Michelle Ago and the Guru. Please, Michelle, where's our president? Because I always hear the presidency speaking, which I know it's a coalition of group of cabals in the Asu Villa. All right, thank you. Lagos Talks, good morning.
Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning to you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Victor. Good morning, Kuno.
Good morning, sir. Please, we have just a minute, sir.
Okay, I just want to condole with the family of the last man.
Golden Obasi.
But let me tell you the truth, the Guru and their Ogaja. What your boys are doing on the field is terrible. You see, they provoke people. Okay, you are a lost person, you are looking for roads, you don't know where you are going, and you came to ask a last man, where is the way? You only need to be where his colleague in the court will arrest you. Okay. And instead of them controlling traffic, you see them running after motor, and with metal and others destroying people's motor.
Okay, thank you very much. He will comment on it as time goes on.
In as much as I'm sad that man was killed, because he's somebody's father, somebody's husband, somebody's son, and brother. So, but the last men are not doing the right thing. As far as Lagos is concerned, everybody wants to have money to go home every day, apart from that. Okay, and they must need some money.
Okay, thank you, sir. 1 minute. Thank you, sir. He will comment later. Please go ahead.
Lagos Talks, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Very good morning to you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Adenus Patrick. I'm calling from Ikeja.
All right, Patrick, join the conversation.
I commiserate with the Lagos State government and the management of LASMA. Mm-hmm. But you know this that thing, nothing is going to happen after this killing. Nothing is going to happen. There will be no prosecution because tribal, religious, and political interests will set those men free. That is my biggest pain in the whole of this process.
Okay, thank you very much.
Good morning. A quick question before we go back to the phone lines. The men who perpetrated this crime, have they been arrested? Was any investigation carried out? Because I want to believe that for the death of this man, there ought to be justice. Justice has to be served to serve as a deterrent to other people who might want to see the LASMA officials as people to attack and go scot-free. Was there any investigation launched?
Yes. Thankfully, the police officers attached to the headquarters in Oshodi, they were able to mobilize themselves to get there to repel further damage. And in that process, some of the attackers were arrested. And as with all criminal cases, that is completely in the purview of the Nigerian police. And so that investigation, those guys were arrested. I believe some of them or all of them have been arraigned, and they're on bail I don't think bail has been effected on any form, but the criminal justice system has kicked in.
All right.
And so we await that.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for that answer.
Lagos Talks, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Michelle.
Good morning to you. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello?
Musa from Lawansi.
Musa from Lawansi. Go ahead.
Yes. I want to greet Guru and the guest in the studio.
Thank you very much. Go ahead. You have just 1 minute.
For the service chief, let them do the work and leave the talk. We want to see results.
Okay, thank you.
That is just my take.
All right. Lagos Talks, good morning.
Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Mr. Guru.
Good morning.
morning.
And good morning to my man there, the last man.
Yes.
Good
Good
morning.
morning to you.
My name is Super Monse from Shomolu.
Okay.
120 policemen to service plasma in Lagos State. As rowdy and as troublesome as it is, the government, whoever allocates or allot this number of policemen to plasma is not doing well. The other day,
Hello?
there was a party in my area here by one politician. Do you know that we had almost something policemen that were there blocking the road, tackle on the street? I beg, they should protect the life of these people. I don't like this story.
Thank you.
And then Irabo should go to Sambisa Forest. And Gumi should take him to where he made 650 bandits and 150 bandits, 750. Let him start his scheming from there. He should not touch on the Bureau and the ESN, Eastern Security Network. He shouldn't go there
Okay,
yet.
thank you
Let
very
him
much.
start
Thank
from
you,
the first
thank
place.
you, thank you.
Thank you.
Let
Thank
us not
you.
sectionalize it or tribalize it.
All right.
ECN, Eastern Nigeria Security Network. General Mahi retired is coming with an idea of all the 5 governors, what they formed. They will come to that. Let us not tribalize this thing. Go ahead.
All right.
Is that you've been on Twitter before, yeah?
Yes, I have.
What about WhatsApp?
Yes, I'm reading from...
Oh, from both?
Yes,
Oh,
from
go
both
ahead.
sides. Okay, let's go on Twitter. Adegboyega Adedeji is saying that may the soul of the last mile official Godwin Oluwasegun Obasi find rest. It's unfortunate but deliberate by Lagos state government to have accommodated these damnful drivers and the Agberus in the state because these are the tools they use during election. All right, thank you. He's also saying, I think PMB is a culprit. That's President Muhammadu Buhari in all of this mess of the former service chiefs that have been put on the nation. No wonder he refused to listen to the calls for their sack. Instead, he compensated them with an ambassadorial position. The probe is a waste of time. All right, thank you. More messages here. This is coming from Udochukwu Nadi. And you're saying, good morning, Michelle and the group. Friendship between Ganduje and Bola Ahmed Tinubu is like friendship between the dollar and a bullion van. That's wonderful. All right, back to the phone lines. Lagos Talks, good morning.
Yeah, hello, Michelle. Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
The Guru.
Yes,
I
sir.
greet you, sir.
I salute you with respect.
My name is Uche. Ordinarily, I should be calling from
Are
Ikeja.
you in Apapa now, Uche?
But I'm reached Apapa now, the Guru.
Okay, Uche,
Yeah, the Guru.
please, once you go off air, call me.
Do I have your number, sir?
The 0906 887 0014.
Okay, sir.
Let me
okay.
repeat it. 0906
Let me try and see if I can store it on my other phone, sir. Sorry, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
0906
0906
887
887
0014.
0014.
30 minutes after going off air, please call me.
I will, the Guru.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right,
Now,
Uche, go ahead.
Quickly, the Guru. This revelation about the former service chiefs and the so-called arms or ammunition that were supposed to be imported and apparently they are nowhere to be found and the monies are also nowhere to be found. And Mr. President is still mute. What exactly is the situation as we speak?
Uche, I cannot tell you whether the president is still mute or not. It's not.
No, he's still mute, the Guru, because he hasn't said a thing about this.
No, the national security advisor has said that the president is investigating it. Let's wait. For
Investigating people that you have conferred ambassadorial status.
Okay, Uche, thank you very much for today. Thank you. Please call me later.
Lagos Talks, good morning.
Good morning, my sister Misha.
Good morning. What's your name?
Good morning, the Guru. My name is Francis. I'm calling from Ibejileki.
Francis, you have 1 minute,
Yeah,
please,
good
sir.
morning.
Go ahead. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Sir, concerning the LASMA officer that died,
Yes, sir.
in fact, we are very sorry. But I still want you to, the Oga there, to equally talk to the LASMA officials, because in our area at Aja, from between Aja and Jakonde, people are still driving one way, and these LASMA people, they are there, and they doesn't control them, they doesn't talk to them.
Okay.
On that bridge at
The man is,
Aja,
the
all of
man is
them will
hearing
pass
you.
it.
Let's save the time.
Yes.
Thank you very much. The man is hearing you.
All right. So I think we should allow him respond to
Is
some
it
of
time?
just a little.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to say one or two things?
Yeah, people have complained. Let me
Yes.
just summarize. People have complained about Danfo drivers being, left to go about their business while private and cab hailing services are always arrested. And also, some bus drivers driving one way right under the nose of LASMA officials, especially at Aja.
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is I am aware of some of the
Complaints.
attitudes
Okay.
that LASMA officers perpetrate on the road.
Okay.
And I honestly speaking, I want to apologize to those that have fallen into a situation where they're surprised and disappointed at the professionalism that was displayed.
Okay.
And from management side, honestly, I want to apologize. I
Yes.
understand exactly what is going on.
Yes.
And that is why everywhere we've gone, we've given telephone numbers for LASMA management to be called and these cases to be reported.
Yeah,
I
you,
know.
You gave us one the
Oh,
other
yes,
time.
I did, yes.
Please remember,
Oh,
you drop another
okay,
one.
I will. I know, and it's not something that I want to publicize. So it doesn't look like it's a political thing. I know how much money I have returned to people that have been extorted, right? And I've always made a promise. You let me know what's going on, and I will investigate, and I would ensure that justice is served. The only thing that I don't want anyone to do, please do not call me if you know you committed an offense. Please do not call me if you induced payment to an officer in order not to be served the proper justice after committing an offense. Do not call me, because I will ask questions.
Yes.
I will ask the right questions. But once I know that you have been unfairly treated, that it's not like you're challenging the current laws of the land, then justice will be served. I promise that. But I apologize. On the other hand, the way we behave on the roads is sad. And every single moment when you're on the road, just look at all your neighbors driving and ask yourself, are these the same Nigerians as well? Do they belong in this side? Do you need LASMA to come and educate this person that clearly looks like he has a PhD degree? Driving a Lexus, driving big Mercedes, except you've stolen it, you must be a big person to be able to own and maintain such vehicles. You must be someone who is revered in church or in the mosque. You must be someone in the family that somebody is calling daddy or mommy. But you come on the road and you behave like same Agberu that we're complaining about. Because why? Your meeting, your appointment is the most important thing in the world, and therefore you must circumvent the safety and needs of everybody else in order to achieve that.
Okay. Thank you. Hold it there. Now, I want to ask this question. Are you aware of anything specifically being drawn out by LASMA management? Of course, talking like that, I'm dragging you to the wider atmosphere of Lagos State government to be established in memory of Godwin Obasi, or that it will be established to take care of, given the circumstances under which he died.
Oh, yeah, most certainly. I mean, you're right. There are standards, and there's a Lagos State is a responsible government. And I'm sure even Mr. Governor is aware of what is going on. But mind you, this is not the first officer that we've lost. It's maybe this one is just because it's fresh. We lose a lot of officers. We lose a lot of officers to serious injury from being hit on the road.
No, but
And
this is attacked.
same thing. Once it's attack deliberate. But if I use my vehicle to knock an officer on the road, that is deliberate attack as well. The fact that somebody did not die does not mean the intent was different.
Okay. So if there is a synergy from outside LASMA to create something like a fund to assist in the case of Godwin Obasi now, because this is more specific attack than using my car to hit, as we explained it. I understand.
Well, that's yeah.
To continue also with probably future happenings like this, would such arrangement be accepted by LASMA?
Absolutely. In fact, it will be a beautiful warm gesture, because at the end of the day, all right, we have over 3,000 officers. There's so much even the government can do. And like I mentioned earlier on, this young guy has got a young family. He's got a mother that depends on him. And it's not there to fulfill that gap. And so if that should happen, and I believe it is possible, then it is something that the family will be grateful to us for a long time.
Okay,
and
thank you for that.
The little we can all do it always goes a long way.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Listeners, please, we might be coming out with ideas of how to have a synergy with Lagos State Traffic Management to set up a fund. It's something that will be physically under management of some creditable people, and to see that Godwin Obasi, because we've not come to end of it yet. We pray it will not happen again. But things like this, mostly in the society that every man drives like a madman. I agree with what the GM have just said now. Some decently looking people who have driven all their days in UK, in US, in other society, where you see them in Lagos, they are different things entirely. So we might be coming up with some arrangement that could become a synergy to fund those left behind by people like this and those probably that will come. So when that time comes, you heard the last man boss saying it will not be a rejected arrangement. We depend on you listeners to move so that the bishop can move to the next level on this matter. Go ahead. You can still pick one or two calls.
All right, let's take a call or two. Lagos Talks, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Monday. I'm calling from Lekki.
All right, Monday, go ahead. Oh, you're calling on a Monday.
Monday, you are welcome on this Monday.
I want to talk to the LASMA GM. Because actually, what all this LASMA is like, most of them, maybe they intentionally did what they did, because I'm a driver. There was a day I was going on the CMS, what is it called now, or the Epo Bridge, before Marina. And all this dotted line on the road, it's like most of this LASMA, they don't know the functions. So I was to maneuver from the line, and I'm now getting to where the triangle is, which means we should not pass through there. And they have to block me, that I've overtaken. I said, but you see the line, that space means you can overtake. And to my surprise, a BRT passed their front and passed the exact place less than was not supposed to pass. Even for one officer that just said they should let me go that day, they padded my car, they forced me out, they are dragging me out. And I was very angry, because that's what most of them do. Most of them don't know the function of those lanes on the road.
Okay,
and in the one close to...
we are short 1 minute already. We have only 1 minute. Thank you very, very much. The general manager is hearing. We have to keep organizing and reorganizing training freshers course for his officers. He is not totally in charge of recruitment of every person that is there. Well, that one you should know. But then he has heard what you have said. So yes,
there's a funny message here
coming
from Joe from Anthony saying, "Good morning, Michelle and the Guru. Please help me ask the LASMA boss if it's part of their training, if it's part of the training for their officers to jump on moving vehicles." We've seen so many videos on social media of that. Wosa from Lekki is saying, "Please, I parked on one side of the road without no parking sign, while the opposite side had no parking sign. Came out and my vehicle had been towed. Got to LASMA office in Sura and was made to pay a fine. Is that right? Specifically, this was on Saka Tinubu." All right, Musa, thank you. Goke from UK is saying condolences to the family of the deceased LASMA official. Issues with drivers in Nigeria. Number 1, poor or lack of driving lessons before obtaining license. Number 2, poor enforcement of traffic laws. All right, thank you. Shegun from Lekki is saying, is LASMA investing in technology? Because in this day and age, LASMA officers should not be chasing down vehicles. There should be cameras all around to help them fulfill their services better. All right, thank you. I think we should stop here.
Mr. Adeyoye, you are welcome. All this demand had to come to you because you have a big head, so don't complain of any larger headache.
No, I won't.
But most of them are forgetting that the provision of the instrument to achieve most of these things are not really your property, because there must be budgetary provision, and it must be. So I don't expect you to respond to all, because it's either you will respond and you enter into the unlikely territory of your employers. So, but what in 1 minute? What do you think you are taking away from this gathering today? 1 minute.
1 minute. Okay, I'll try and achieve that. With traffic in any part of the world, the responsibilities are threefold. The first one is the government. All right, the government, if they're listening, and I'm part of it, and whoever is responsible, budgetary or no budgetary, we must take on board that we have responsibilities to inform and to educate all motorists as to what they can or cannot do all of the time. It's going to cost money, but if you want to save society, it's not going to come cheap. So it's either we want it or we don't want it, and we can afford it and we put the money there. So when it comes to infrastructure, traffic signs, signalization, and educating everyone on a regular basis, the government needs to stand up. The second bit now is the enforcement officers. We need to tidy our house up, whatever the case may be. Training or retraining, using technology, we need to do it, because there needs to be a more pleasant interaction between us and those that we were asked to go and enforce. And then lastly, the road users, the motorists, they need to wake up and stop pretending and stop lying. Stop getting license from the back door. Stop driving like a lunatic. Stop driving like a maniac, because why? The person you're driving against could be your family member. The person you're trying to run off the road could be a family member. So be careful how you throw stone in the market, because in an environment where we need to share, sharing is very important. It is not about you, it's about sharing. So let's be safe out there, and I'm sure things will get better.
Okay, the last question, please don't answer me. This unholy synergy between Commercial Drivers Association and the operators of LASMA, do you think you can break that backbone? Please don't answer to the question. You take it away. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
We are rounding up in a moment, so we can walk out of the studio together. Let's go for our
Knowledge Drop Box. All right, stay with us. You're listening to Michelle and the Guru on Lagos Talks 91.3.
We are Lagos Talks 91.3.
Let's talk.